So I will go ahead and start the session and then turn it over to Patricia and Laurel. And what
Sure.
we're doing is talking about Laurel's new book, which I understand is coming out, what, April 21st? Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that's just fantastic. We just saw the cover, which is absolutely gorgeous.
The
Yeah.
picture
And
cover.
oh, there it
Oh,
is,
there it
Falling
is.
into a Good Life, which is a terrific title, and it is a terrific book. I had the privilege of getting to read it before it was published, and I'm just in love with it. And I'm also happy to have Patricia Leavy here with us. Thank you for joining us. And she is the publisher of Paper Stars Press, the publisher of this book, and we're really happy to have you as a publisher, and we look forward to seeing you publish a lot of our books. And of course, Patricia is a well-known author in and of herself. I don't know how many books she has. I've lost count. But one of my favorite recent books is The Artist Academic, which I highly recommend to everyone. And again, thank you so much for joining us and being a conversational partner for Laurel.
Thank you so much for having me. So just to tell everyone what we were planning to do is I just have a few opening remarks and then I'm going to introduce Laurel and she's going to tell you about her beautiful, beautiful book and read some excerpts from the book. And then we thought we'd hand it over for discussion, comments, questions. And I am beyond honored to be here today to celebrate Laurel's new book, Falling into a Good Life. And so before I introduce her, I just want to tell you a little bit about how I come to be here. And I really hope I don't cry because I have a weird history with Carolyn Ellis that whenever she's present, I cry. And I think she might think that I like cry all day, every day, and I don't. Somehow I do in her presence. And Laurel being here and talking about what her work means to me could have that same effect. So I've actually practiced my remarks in the hopes that I don't cry, but if I do, I don't cry every day, Carolyn. I just want you to know that in advance. So how I come to be here, over 25 years ago, when I was the age that my daughter is now, I stumbled upon Laurel's book, Fields of Play, which fast became one of my favorite books and remains one of my favorite books to this day. It is one of the only books that I reread and reread and reread. And not that other books aren't wonderful, but time is short. But I just love her book so much that every few years I have to pick it up and read it again. And I loved her book so much because I absolutely felt like I was going to be an outsider within the academy, and probably an outsider anywhere else I was going to be. And in my 20s, I didn't really know how that would work and what kind of path I could have. And in reading her incredible trailblazing book, I felt like there was a path forward, and maybe there were many paths forward. And that book truly became like a Bible to me. And if you would have told me in my 20s that I would ever even meet the Laurel Richardson who wrote that book, I would not have believed you. I promise you, I wouldn't have believed it. And fast forward, life is really more amazing than we can ever plan or expect, because years later, I would meet Laurel at a conference, the International Qualitative Conference, Congress of Qualitative Inquiry in Urbana-Champaign, which so many of us have met at over the years. And Laurel is one of those rare people who is at least as wonderful in person as she is in her books. And I think we all know that that can be rare too. So it was just incredibly wonderful to meet her and tell her how much her work means to me. Little did I expect that one day, over 10 years ago, I would receive an email with Laurel's then unpublished manuscript. And she was interested in publishing it in a book series that I edited at the time. I was so excited that Carolyn, I did cry when I received that email from Laurel. And I received it at the end of a work week. And I told my husband, like, I'm not available this weekend. Laurel Richardson just sent me her unpublished book. That is what I am doing this weekend. And I locked myself in my office and curled up in a chair and read another incredible, incredible book by Laurel. And I will say to this day, when people ask me about career highlights, I consider that one of my top 5 career highlights, reading her unpublished book. And so I was very lucky to publish that book. And then she sent me another unpublished manuscript, and I was lucky again. It was another stunning book, and I published it in another book series. Fast forward several months ago, I get an email from Laurel, who has become a friend to me. She's one of those wonderful people who, when you're going through a difficult time, will send you a card or a beautiful email, supportive or kind words. When you ask for a favor, a blurb for your book, or help for a colleague, she always says yes with enthusiasm and generosity. And so several months ago, when I received an email from her telling me she had written another gorgeous, no doubt, book called Falling into a Good Life, and she was looking for advice about how she might publish it. So I sent her an email with lots of information about the various ways she might consider publishing it. And I offered to introduce her to one of my publishers that might be a good publisher for it. And at the end of the email, I said, hey, by the way, this isn't public, so nobody knows it yet, but I'm actually starting my own imprint. I've been working on it for a year. We're going to be up and running in a few months. If you wanted to publish with us, of course, I'd be thrilled and honored. I couldn't believe it when she actually emailed me back and she said, yep, that's what I want to do. I want to publish it with you. And so Laurel opens her book, Falling into a Good Life, with a beautiful letter to readers in which she challenges several cultural beliefs, including, quote, miracles are rare, end quote. Laurel says they aren't. The fact that she is here with us after a nearly fatal fall and that I am publishing her new book is proof that she is right. So I am truly, truly honored to be here today. Laurel Richardson is a distinguished professor emeritus of sociology at The Ohio State University. She is a trailblazing researcher and memoirist whose work has insisted that every life, especially those pushed to the margins, deserves to be heard in its own voice. A feminist scholar and stylistic innovator, she reimagined what social science could be, weaving narrative, poetry, and theory that honors lived experience and challenges the hierarchies that silence it. Her writing and teaching have emboldened generations, including me, to speak truth with courage, craft, and compassion. She is the mother of 2, grandmother of 2, and companion to a spirited Cavachon puppy, Simca. She lives in Worthington, Ohio, where she continues to write toward justice, beauty, and the possibility of a good life. She is the award-winning author of 12 books, including The New Other Woman, Fields of Play, Writing Strategies, 7 Minutes from Home, Lone Twin, and A Story of Marriage Through Dementia and Beyond. So it is my great, great honor and one of the honors of my life to introduce Laurel Richardson, and she can tell you about her gorgeous new book.
Whoops, I'm muted. I'm unmuted. I'm muted.
We hear you.
Oh, okay. Let me try to make myself be the, whoops. There. Let me be the speaker. We still got you as the speaker. I'll put me as the speaker. Whoops, I'm muted. I'm not muted?
You're not muted.
How do I get me as the speaker? Speaker? Well,
You're the speaker. You're good.
And you are the speaker on our.
Oh, on you, but
computers.
not on me. Okay.
Okay.
Patricia, I'm crying. And thank you. And it's wonderful to see Art and Carolyn. It's wonderful to be here. I'm extremely grateful. I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to be here. I wish I could see myself better, but I guess I can't. Maybe go back to the gallery. Maybe I can see myself there. Now I see Carolyn, and I don't know. There I am. What does it say? Mute?
Tony, is it possible to pin?
No, I don't have mute down here. I have it. Oh, then.
Does that do everything? Now you're muted.
Now you're muted. Now you're muted.
Go back to where you were.
Okay.
You were fine before. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, look at this. You get to see my unmade bed and my bathroom and everything. Thank you very much for all being here and for me being here. I really am extremely grateful. What I want to do is read some of the book and then have you ask questions. The book was written over 2 separate periods. It's in 2 parts. Part 1 has to do with me falling down 13 stairs and breaking my neck, my back, my wrist, my eyes, my ribs, and the process of recovery, which was almost a year of being taken care of in hospitals, etc. And then I thought I was done with the book. And then I realized, no, wait a minute, I'm really okay. And so it needed a second part, and that became Into a Good Life. So the first was Falling, the second was Into a Good Life. And I'm just going to do a little bit of the falling part because I don't want to dispress us. So the first chapter is 13 stairs. Here's what happened, or didn't. I don't know. I was at the top of 13-step staircase in my house, trying to hold on to the utmost newel, when I lost control of all my muscles and all my nerves, and I tumbled down all 13 steps, pushing my head against the wall, landing on the floor, a broken tooth in my hand. I lay there for 16 hours. My friend Fatu is the one who called, actually finally reported me missing, and I was brought to the hospital. Did I not sorted things out? I didn't bring, oh, here we go. While I was in the bed and while I was in the hospital, all I kept thinking about was 3 words that I couldn't remember. And I couldn't remember the words. I just needed the 3 words. When in the hospital, I was in the back and neck spine for 33 days, laying on my back. I was in the trauma center, and then I was moved to a rehab. I want to read a little bit from the rehab. Here's what happened. No change, Dr. Artie says. She can go. I am confused and sorrowed. I guess my neck and back are not healed, and it's okay for me to die now. Although while I was in the hospital, the doctors were calling me a miracle because I was still alive, and I was sure I was going to die. 1, 2, 3, over. Gowned bodies have moved me from my bed to a stretcher on wheels. Where am I going? ICU, morgue. 1, 2, 3, push. Stretcher with me tied to it is lifted onto an ambulance. Oh, I'm going on a joyride. Maybe. Bring her here, a gravelly voiced woman says. She snaps a band around my wrist, sticks a stick in my ear, and tisks at my choke collar, back brace, and head bandage. Jeopardy is screeching on the television. I am so tired. Have you been on a Hoyer? She asks. I have no idea what she's talking about. I am so tired. Jamel, she yells, help me here. Jamel must be 6'6" and 300 pounds. He picks me off my stretcher like a bed bug and puts me in a swing that descends down to another stretcher. Well, Missy, you weigh in at 135. I've lost 35 pounds. I am so tired. Jamel, Hoyer her back to her stretcher and take her to her room. Where am I? I'm in a rehab for 2 weeks, and insurance requires you to leave. From there, I go to assisted living, which I loved, for about 3 or 4 months. And from there, I went home with my grandson. And that's when I ended the first part of the book, Falling. Then I realized I was going to be moving to an independent senior living place. And I started, once I was here, writing again, The Hartman. This is about the third chapter, and this is the third chapter into the writing of Into a Good Life. And I call it The First 3 Months. Whatever you resist, that's where your growth is. Oh, well, hello. I'm resisting writing about my first 3 months here at the Hartford. If Ernest were here, he'd say, stop clearing your throat and get on with it. But I don't. I fritter. My university friends are here, and they've been reading drafts of my book. And I tell them, if I knew the title of this chapter, I could write it. You're living it, Brenda says. I see you surrounded by constellations of friends, ideas, feelings, Linda M. says. Constellating? Yeah, I like gerunds. Resisting writing? Judith asks. What about not writing? Amy says. What if you write that you're not going to write about whatever? Auto-reverse psychology. My body relaxes. I am not going to write that I am tired, sleep 12 hours a night, and nap twice a day. I'm not going to write that on Monday, my son Josh comes to help me with electronic glitches. Hi, Josh. Hello. Glad you've come. That's how I always greet him because he requested. I say those very words before I tell him what I want him to do for me. I love you, Mom, he always says with a hug. What do you need done? He fixes the printer, straightens the catawampus wall art. Are you hungry? I ask. Famished, he says. We head to the Everest where I get my favorite saag paneer, mild, and Josh gets a Coke and chicken curry, level 5. I lock the door behind us so Lily is safe from dog nappers. Also, I'm not going to write that Ben and Tammy come on Wednesdays. Tammy brings me my favorite little blueberry pies from Kroger's. Where'd you like to go, Mom? My son Ben asks. He pets Lily behind her ears. Oh, the library, Fresh Time, CVS, and the cleaners. Shall I drive or do you want to walk? Oh, let's drive, and I'll bring Lily on a leash. Once back and Lily on her bed, and go to the Hartford Bistro. Ben and Tammy order rosemary chicken. I order spinach roll. Love you, Mom, Tammy says as we hug. Love you, Mom, Ben says, kissing me on the cheek. Thinking about my family's weekly visits, I feel blessed to have 2 sons and a daughter-in-law who genuinely care about me and want to spend time with me. But I do have a niggling fear that if I am too needy, I will lose them, not in a love lost dramatic way, but through a slow erosion of their desire to be with me if I ask too much. Our visits could become shorter, less frequent, feel compulsory, no joy. I need them, really need them, my only family, them. I'm not going to write about feeling existentially alone. I am not going to write about that. I'm not going to write about those pangs. And I'm not going to write about the wayfarers not meeting. We so deeply bonded during our Artist Way group that we extended our meetings and formed a book group. We even gave ourselves a name. You don't name things you don't plan on keeping. But Michael travels constantly and has a new French girlfriend. Margie and Betsy have young children and busy husbands. Regina has a new business. George is moving. Tara has got a new job. We've not been able to find a time, any time, to meet. I am happy for each one of them, but I'm envious. The Wayfarers were my young friends. They're doing what young people can do: travel, fall in love, raise families, start businesses, take new jobs, move, all things I could and did do when I was young. And I can't do now because I am old. Bingo! I've resisted writing because writing uncovers a mirage of negative feelings: depression, loss, anger, fear, envy, sorrow, bewilderment, weariness, neediness. I see myself as a positive person. I'm kind of a Pollyanna. To admit all these ugly feelings challenges who it is I think I am. So it was the growth, acknowledging I have a deepening shadow side that has come into light. Wait, no, those negative feelings are not because I've moved. They are a part of me now because I am old. I am not getting older. I am old. Being at the Hartford, I'm safe and sound. I am old. Enough already. Enough already, Laurel. Enough. You're intellectually alive here. You're still a sociologist, having a role in the community, enjoying yourself, going soon to the International Association of Autoethnography and Narrative Inquiry Conference. Now I want to move to the very end of the book. So I've told you there were 3 words that I kept wanting to find and couldn't. And here they are. Here I am. And the end of the book, the writing keeps changing. The end of the book actually replicates the changing in the writing, and it's kind of fun. June 1st. On this day 2 years ago, COVID paralysis freezes me. 13-step staircase, down I go. Broken wrist, jaw, neck, back, eye socket. Concussion, discussion. She's alive. We'll call Laurel a miracle. That I survived and flourished is a miracle, but I am not the miracle. I'm alive because my given and acquired survival skills meshed at the necessary time with medical, familial, social, and spiritual factors. The confluence is the miracle. Everything is a confluence. Everything is a miracle. And I get to be a part of that miracle, of that everything. Oh dear. But oh, now here comes a thought that confounds me. A cliche. I'm a cliche. Maybe cliches are cliches because they're true and beautiful and continuous and real and good and wise and sweet and fortunate and charming and more. I am a miracle. I am a cliche. I am grateful for my fall. The fall awakened in me a life source, kindled a resilience I didn't know I had, and led me to accept both my gifts and my shadow side. I found the right place for the embodied me to be me. Space raised. I am standing on my porch, holding Lily in my arms, watching children at play in Hartford Park. A spontaneous smile tickles the boundaries of my face. I am wearing a new sky blue t-shirt. On it A graphic white sun shines down upon all manner of flora, while its rays reach up to my shoulders. Beneath the graphic, across my heart, are the 3 words I had sought to remember during my fall and ever after. Here I am. Hineni. Here I am. I have fallen into a good life. Thank you.
Laurel, that was such a treat to hear you read. I always love hearing you read, and I've read this book so many times, but to hear you read from it is truly, truly a treat. We do want to open it up for questions and discussion about Laurel's book or life or whatever it is people want to talk about. I do just want to kick it off and tell you, Laurel, I have thought this for decades, since before I knew you and when I only knew your words, and I think it every time I read one of your books, that you are just the best of us when it comes to personal writing, not only because you just have so many skills as a writer and as an artist, the way you weave things together, but I think it's so hard for people to write something that is really accessible and relatable and personal, with also all the substance that you would have in an academic work or in a researched work, but completely accessible where anybody could read this book. And I think so many people will read it and will benefit from it. I know that one of the scholars who blurbed the book emailed me. She works with seniors at a community center, and she's planning to gift them copies because she knows how meaningful it will be for them. And those people are not scholars. They are regular people who are going to benefit from your work. And I mean, like I said, since I was my daughter's age, I have seen that in your writing, and it has never stopped. So you're just a gorgeous, gorgeous writer. And with that, we would like to open it up for questions and discussion.
Thank you, Patricia. I wanted the book to be accessible. That's one of the, it was going to be academic, but I didn't want it academic. I wanted it accessible because I do feel it speaks to everybody in a different way. Yeah. Questions? Answers? Yes, Pat. Pat's got her hand up. Tony?
Hi, Laurel. Thank you very, very much. Pat, hi. I've always felt that you've been a couple of steps ahead of me. I'm a little bit younger than you, but now it doesn't seem to be quite the same distance. And yet again, you've done it. You've pulled it off. I mean, I thought your book about dementia, because you and I both shared a demented husband. Well, not the same one, but you know. And I thought, well, I'm not going to bother to write anything about dementia because Laurel's done it, and you did it about so many things. So this is just, I mean, Patricia was talking about crying. I mean, I'm all teared up, and I just wanted to say thank you. And it's lovely to be in the same Zoom room as you again.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, thank you.
Peter has his hand up.
Yeah, Laurel, thank you so much for sharing your work. And I know I've told you this before, but your scholarship provides a path for so many of us, myself included, to share our words and share our testimonies. And so once again, thank you for continuing to do that in all the ways that you do.
You know, I need to thank you because I realize as I'm sitting here how much I learned from you all. And, you know, so I'm a catalyst, but I didn't do all the work you all have done. So I need to thank you all for what you do. You've enriched my life. I mean, I've had a wonderful life and you've really enriched it. Thank you, Peter. I see hearts. People know how to do things.
Laurel, this is Carolyn.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hi. When you came on, I thought, oh, how brilliant. Laurel's putting us into her space so that we can see what it looks like in its normal look, not just all fixed up. So just claim that's why you did it. I loved hearing your voice. And as much as I love the book, hearing your voice just added something to it, and seeing your face and hearing your expression. It is a beautiful, beautiful work. And I feel like Pat, as I said in the blurb for your book, I've always followed your life because you were always a step ahead of me, and I would go, okay, now what did Laurel do here? What worked? And this was the same. It's like, what would it be like to be in independent living space like you're in? So thank you for always being my guide through the next phase of life. And I hope mine ends up being as good as yours. I'd like not to fall, but I would like for it to be as good as yours.
And the fall, I learned from in the book from my PT is I had something. Older people, I must have had COVID but not responded to it. And what happens, it kind of carries up in your body, and then eventually you just can't do anything about it. And that's why I was a total paralysis. The good news about it is because it happened on the staircase and it was just me. I wasn't in a car driving. And I stopped driving after that. There was like, because if that had happened while I was driving, God knows who I would have hurt. So that's the good news. But isn't that interesting that your body stores it up and then suddenly it's completely over with. Yeah. Oh, and the other part that's miraculous is I have an old rug in my old house, a 40-year-old rug, and I'd put in an 8-inch padding because of the piano being so noisy. And I was going to take it out because it was 40 years old. And my friend said, oh, keep it. Wait till your dog dies because it's a mess. And my son Josh said, that's why I lived, because there was so much padding. I fell onto a padded floor.
Ron, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Laura, once again.
Oh, hi, Ron. Oh, it's great to
How are
see
you? It's so great to be in your presence and listen to another of your work. What a treat. What a treat.
Treat both ways.
You're such a wonderful inspiration. I'm trying to follow in your footsteps, staying active, trying to live the good life. So my question for you is, are you beginning to circle another book project?
Here's an odd story. Thank you, Ron. I thought of that this morning. Someone's going to ask me if I'm writing another book. So I didn't quite get this book finished, but I said to one of my friends, Nancy, I'm afraid that when I finish this book, I'm going to die. And she said, well, of course, then you've got to write another book. That was her response. So in my head, I've been writing a book called Times I Didn't Die. And there are at least 5 of those where I should have died and I didn't.
I just want to say I'll publish it. So I'm going to volunteer right now, Laurel.
Okay.
I will publish it if you want. So you better stay busy. I mean, just so you all know, when I email Laurel, we email constantly about this book. It's been a lot of work and we've been working closely together. And sometimes she'll email me back. Well, I'll get back to you later because I have to run to my writing group, or I have to run to this, or I'm going to that. She just has such an amazing, full, creative, active life. Which is wonderful. So you should work on this book. And if you do, we can publish it.
Thank you. I need to say, and Patricia's written about it in the academic artist book, that writing is not the same as authoring. And I've never had to author because I've always worked with a publisher, Carolyn or Mitch or Patricia or somebody. I've never done this kind of work, and it is so much work. I'm just like, oh my God, this is so much work. Writing is a natural activity for me. Computer and all the rest of this is not. I'm not natural to this. So thank you, Patricia, for everything you've done. I'm such. But if I do write another book, I will at least know how to do it, how to author it.
It gets easier each time, and you know what? It's a lot of fun too. So you're gonna have a lot of fun with all the promotion that's planned.
Are you publishing poetry also?
Book comes out.
So are you publishing poetry?
Yes, absolutely. Of course. Am I publishing poetry? Yes, of course. If it's in the arts, yes, I'm interested in publishing it. Absolutely. I just want to say for everyone who's interested in Laurel's book, and obviously your support would be so welcome. It's not available for pre-order yet. It's just not ready. And so we're just waiting until it's perfect. But the book does come out April 21st. I do expect by the end of this month, it will be available for pre-order. So you can keep an eye out. I'm sure Laurel will share on her Facebook page and I will share on my social media. So you can keep an eye out, but it would be wonderful when it's ready. And we do have another book event, a virtual book event scheduled in June with the London Art Space Research Center, and that is a free event. Tickets are required because they limit seating, but it will be a free event. So I will be posting about that. I'm sure Laurel will too. So anybody who wants to join us is more than welcome.
And the book will be on Amazon.
Yes, the book will be on Amazon out April 21st, but hopefully available for pre-order at the end of this month.
Thank you. Hi, Mitch. Hi, Mitch.
Hi, Laurel. It's
acknowledge you in my
delightful to see
acknowledgement.
the book finally coming out, and
I acknowledge you. I
to see
acknowledge you.
a crowd of well-wishers supporting it. My question is about memory.
Yes.
I know from when I read the draft that you sent me that your whole memory was very fuzzy for months, and as you tried to put the book together and tried to tell the story, having fallen, having been in the hospital, having been in acute care, and so on and so forth, how did you sort out what you imagined from what you might have imagined, from what you might have invented? How did you put all that together? How did it happen?
Good question. And I can answer it different ways. One, my memories was not fuzzy. My memory was my memory. Whether my memory was correct or not, I don't know. And those are two different questions. I don't know if my memory was correct, but my memory was not fuzzy. And I talked about this before. I was trained as a very young child to have a good memory. My dad was a criminal lawyer, and our phone was a Lakeview 52525. It was a public phone in our house. So when people called and I would answer, I had to remember exactly what they said and report that to my dad, as if I were a witness. I was he was a criminal. He was Al Capone's lawyer. It was a very serious event. So as a very young child, I learned that, and my brother and my sister have it too. We have very strong memories. So back to your question, whether it's factual or not, it is my memory. And I think what's fascinating is that you're unconscious, but you're still aware that when you're gone, a consciousness gone, you're not gone. There's still the awareness there. And I had a coma once before, and the same was true then. So I'd already had experience with remembering things while in a coma, and then checking the facts. One of the facts was that I thought my younger son had come to visit me during the coma, and I told my older son that. He said, "No, that was me, Mom." But I knew that the visiting, I just had the wrong child. I couldn't see them; they were behind me. I don't make up facts. They are facts, but they may not be the facts. Does that make sense, Mitch? Yeah, they are my memories, and I really doubt this memory research that says every time we look at our memories we change them. I really doubt that. I really don't. I really doubt that research. I think we might embroider them. Make them more interesting, or learn more about them, fill in more details. I don't think we change them. I don't know.
Did you ever pull something from the book because you were uncertain how the memory joined the facts?
No. The only thing I pulled from the book, I had some negative comments about some people. And I had made my decision when I wrote this book that I would write nothing negative about anybody ever again, because I've done that in the past and it has bad outcomes. And so I did, but I write it, but I pulled it from the book. So anything negative about anybody is gone. But nothing about the memory stuff, no. And in fact, Suzanne, who figures heavily in this book, was witness to quite a bit of my memory because I was talking to her, saying things about, all that matters is love. And she knows that. So in some sense, I had a witness to what I was saying, which is more verification than most science gets. Yeah. Yeah.
We on?
Yeah, well,
Oh, okay. Hi, Laurel. Great to see you.
Who's here?
Art.
Oh, Art. Hi, Art. How are
Art.
you?
It's wonderful to see you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good to
I
see
wanted
you.
to say a couple of things about a term that we've used a lot, resonance.
Yes.
I really I really responded. Your description of your thoughts about your kids and their visits was a moment of maximum resonance for me because I remember the last years of my mother's life, and I was very close to my mother, and I was actually responsible for her well-being and health care especially in the last year and a half. And my siblings, one who was a New York artist and another living in North Carolina, they didn't want to come to see her. They didn't want to remember her at this stage of life. I, on the other hand, who never volunteered to be the caregiver, but relished what I was learning as the person closest to her, really wanted to be with her and wanted to be with her and to see her through this last stage of her life. My mother knew that her other children didn't really want to be there. And she confided that in me. But what was most important to me was not to tell her how much I wanted to be with her, but to try to show it in whatever way I could. And Carolyn, of course, my dear partner, was very much a part of that as well. But that evoked a whole range of memories. I don't want to take everybody else's time, but I wanted to share that with you. And I think that will be a moment of wonderful resonance for readers. Thank you.
Thank you, Art. And and my dear friend Ellen Geller, who lives in Princeton, is one of us, but not one of us. She's a psychologist. I read that to her earlier today, or some other day, and she said that's the one to use. And I thought, yes, this would resonate with younger people, with their parents. Or what in my book should I read? That's 200 pages, and I chose that particular section because indeed it does resonate. It lets you know you matter, and what are you going to do about your parents? Yeah. Thank you, Ellen.
anyone else have a comment you want to make? We have a few more minutes. Laurel, is there anything else you want to say or anything else about writing the book?
Yes, the thing about the book is the writing. I really, this might probably be my favorite book. My last book is always my favorite book. The craziness of the writing in the beginning. I mean, just craziness, and then it gets more and more lyrical, and then you hear at the end this kind of poetry. That the writing, the writing mirrors my own recovery, and that's like a different level of qualitative research. It's not just talking about it or showing it; it's showing it in the writing. It's a very different level of depths of qualitative research, showing in the writing. the change, the recovery, the whatever, not just telling it, or not just even showing it, saying blah, blah, blah. If the writing demonstrates it, the funniness at the end here, the little child poem, da, 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 wait, da, 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 here I am. He, nain, ni. The strength of those words, that's Hebrew for here I am. That's very spiritual, that's very biblical, and you don't need to know that, but I know that. And you probably do know it by the time you've read the book, that I've done a spiritual renewal, not only a physical renewal, a spiritual renewal. Yeah, thank you for being here. It's wonderful to see you all.
I just want to say, Laurel, I mean, the book is a masterclass in writing about the personal. It really, really is. And I mean, to me, the literary analysis or skills, or however you want to frame it, that you transpose and how you structure the book and how you transpose that onto your experience. And the comment that Art made, which again is the best of memoir writing, something that creates resonance and that creates feelings in people. I honestly think the book is a masterclass in personal writing. And, you know, and I'm very excited about it because there are two audiences for this book, and we are marketing it as a trade book for memoir readers. But I also hope that people in the Academy read the book for multiple reasons, but that they use it as a course in writing the personal. So I just do want to take the moment to remind everyone again that the book comes out April 21st.
I want to remind people that Renee Saldana, who's not here, wrote the afterword. He's a professor of literature and education. He's written a great poem book, which I want to nominate for a prize here. And he wrote the afterword, and that's what he does. He does about the writing. He really gets the writing. Yes,
yeah, it's a beautiful afterword. It's a
beautiful afterword. Yeah, I've never met him. I wrote a review of his book, but I was hoping he'd be here, but he's with his son at athletics something. Yes, so April 21st, Falling into a Good Life. May you all not fall, but may you all have may a good life fall onto you. Yeah, that's a good way.
And I do also just want to let people know, because Carolyn was so generous to mention the book, but for Women's History Month, I put my book, my memoir, The Artist Academic, on sale, almost 50% off, which I'm never doing again, but we're doing it for 1 month for Women's History Month. So right now, The Artist Academic is on sale for anybody who's interested. And keep a lookout on my social media and Laurel's social media, because once the book is available for pre-order, we will have it up. Yeah. And Laurel, this is such a treat for me personally, and I think for everybody who was here to join us and to hear you reading from your gorgeous, gorgeous new book. So I want to thank Carolyn and Art and Tony and everybody for inviting us to participate in this wonderful conference.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Laurel.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Art. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Pat. Thank you. Thank you.